Addicts, welcome to the 2021 Open Championship betting picks and preview podcast for the Tour Junkies. I'm your host, DB. I got Pat Perry with me. We're pumped. We're excited. It's going to be a good show tonight. It's Monday night. We recorded the DraftKings picks and preview show last night, so it's already out and up there. If you haven't already seen that, check that out. We go real deep in the field on that one. Plenty of useful information on that one, too, if you're betting. This one is always presented by our friends at Fantasy National. Head over to fantasynational.com/TJ and get yourself 20% off. The best, tools and golf betting stat site in the world, in the entire World Wide Web. You can't get any better than fantasynational.com. And going to /TJ or using promo code Tour Junkies gets you 20% off any level membership, weekly, monthly, annually. It's great. And if you try it this week for the Open, which you should, if you're betting like $25-$30 at least, like you should go ahead and get this week's membership to Fantasy National and give it a shot. It's crazy to me if you're out there not doing this and you're trying to win money betting on the PGA Tour, because it's probably not working for you. Fantasy National been around 4 or 5 years now. They've been supporting us. We've been using them for that long. They're the only site we use. All of our stats, all of our information, all of our data, all of our optimizers or simulators or whatever you want all comes from fantasynational.com. So check it out. If you try it this week and you like it, you can upgrade the membership and get the month or the annual membership still for 20% off. So it's a great deal. It's a great deal. And all the data is licensed by the PGA Tour. So all the strokes gained data is good and pure, baby. Very pure. Thank you to fantasynational.com. We appreciate those guys. Check them out. And in fact, they sponsored our Nut Up or Shut Up game last night, Pat, on the DFS show. If you missed that, it was hilarious. Stuff. I cried on the show, which I don't know that I feel like I've probably laughed so hard I've cried before in 6 years of doing this. But last night I laughed so hard I cried at you.
You might cry again tonight.
I might cry again tonight. You're right.
It could be a double cry episode back to back.
I just got nervous and kind of a male hot flash there.
Butterflies in your stomach real quick there. Just fluttering around.
Yeah, if nobody knows what's going on tonight, later on is yours truly will be getting waxed on my body because I lost a bet. So, I lost a bet in the middle of Pat's heater week of the U.S. Open, and I'm going to pay my dues tonight. My wife will be walking up here at some point during the show. I'm not sure when. So at some point, my wife's coming up here, and she's going to put some hot wax and a strip on my inner thigh and take hair off of my body, which that's never happened to my inner thigh. So
are we going to be waiting? Is there like a proper wait time between when the wax goes on and then the stripping happens, or like?
So I've talked to her about this, and the method is you put it on there. You're not going to be waiting long. She's going to put on there. You rub it to get it to really stick and make sure this is it's the adhesive is there. The wax is doing its thing, and then you rip fast. So she's ready to go. I had to go to CVS and buy the wax kit myself. That was fun. My 11-year-old, almost 11-year-old went with me. He had a lot of questions, so that was also fun. But yeah, that's going to happen because I pay my bets. That's what I do. I pay my bets. I lost during Pat's heater. Thank you to Justin Thomas for that. Lost the best friends bet to Jordan Spieth. I'm sure we'll be talking about one of those fellas, maybe two of those fellas here in just a minute. But that's happening at some point tonight. And we're going to get into the odds. We're going to talk about the outright bets that are catching our eye as of Monday night. We're going to talk about top 20s, top 10s. There's some prop bets we're going to talk about. We got our let 'em hang predictions at the end. It's going to be a good show, Pat. I'm excited about it, man. What's on tap for you tonight? What are we sipping? What's the podcast juice, buddy?
Just drinking a little Wild Leap tonight. Little Wild Leap ale. It's very good.
Yes, looks delicious. I've got some Wild Leap vodka. I'm going the hard stuff tonight. I'm trying to get good and lubed up before the wax hits me. So it's Wild Leap vodka, soda, lime. We're ready to go, baby. Podcast juice is kicking. I got my free golf lessons from 1-800-PERRY, Pat Perry, Perry Pro. So if you want to learn how to hit it on the toe and maybe not transfer your weight properly, you can call 1-800-PERRY Pro and Pat will hook you up with some lessons. Shout out to Birds of Condor, made this hat, Australian brand, and shout out to Aussie DB, my boy, listener of the show, Nut Hut member, sent this hat and I took it. So thank you for that. Yeah. What else is going on, Pat? We good? You recovered after last night?
I think I'm recovered. I mean, I had some problems with the English language last night, but it was fine. It was a good time. I don't know if I've changed too much, even in my picks from one night to another, which happens a lot, and especially
Yeah.
as we get later in the week. But yeah, excited to go. It's going to be a good week. Looks like a lot of wind
Yeah.
this week. Not
Yeah.
necessarily a lot of rain, but a lot of wind. So
Yeah, so speaking of that, I mean, we did a pretty comprehensive discussion and full course breakdown on the DraftKings show. If you need that, you can go check it out. But obviously, par 70, around 7,200 yards, Royal St. George is right there, just right there near the North Sea in Sandwich, UK. They're in Kent, England. Pretty cool place, it looks like. And yeah, it's hosted a lot of major a lot of major championships. First time back here since 2011.
mhm.
Um, now let's go through the past champs. Maybe you want to do that, Pat? I guess Open champions.
You want past Open champions, or you want past
Yep.
champions here on
Past
this
Open
course?
champions, you had Shane Lowry, who's the defending
Yeah.
champ. And I want to talk about the odds because that's what people are here for. I think understanding where the winners have come from is cool. So
Mhm.
Shane Lowry won at 70-1. Molinari before that at 33-1. Spieth at 16-1 before him. Henrik Stenson in that epic duel with Phil Mickelson in 2016 at 33-1. And then we get into Zach Johnson in 2015 winning at 110-1, your first triple digit, or the most recent triple digit winner. Rory in 2014 at 18-1. Phil in 20-1. Ernie Els at 45-1. Darren Clark at this same venue at around 200 to 300-1 on some books. And even before that, in 2010, Louis Oosthuizen at 250-1. So since 2010, you've had 3 triple-digit winners, but none since Zach Johnson won in 2015. So, it'll be interesting to see what we get here. Now, I think Pat mentioned the weather. And we were just talking to producer Sam about this before we came on. It's one of those weeks where locking in your bets too early can be a bad thing because
Mhm.
the Open Championship is notorious for weather wave and tee time wave advantages being lopsided one way or the other. Countless times it's happened. Dozens of players are documented saying like, yeah, I mean, you can get a really crappy side of the draw here. And while it does look like all the rain is moved out of Sandwich, UK for the next week or so. I do think they got some rain today. It looks like the wind is going to be fresh, which I'm excited about. Like I'm very
Yeah.
excited about
Great.
a blustery Open. But it does mean there's likely going to be a weather wave advantage. And so I do think it's a little scary to lock in a bet now, although there are some names, some numbers that you just see that are just too juicy, right, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people get really excited in majors.
Yeah.
They want to get their stuff in early. They want to get going, and you just got to be patient. This is the one where you really have to be patient. I'm not saying wait to the last minute to throw in to throw in your bets, but pretty
Yeah.
much you gotta wait pretty long. Make sure you at least know what's going to happen with the weather wave, especially with the wind this week. And it changes pretty rapidly there. So when you're on the coast like they are, so yeah. But I do think there's a lot of good value on the board this week. I think there's some discrepancy in some of the books. So there's some numbers that you can get on some guys, and it's 15, 20-1 less in some other books. So I'm excited about this week and ready to go.
All right, so Scott Anderson is watching live on YouTube, which first of all, thank you, Scott, for watching live.
Mhm.
And if anyone's watching live on YouTube, we appreciate it. Go ahead and hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already. And if you're not watching live and this is already over, please comment. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think about the show. Tell us who your pick to win the Open Championship is. Maybe give us a long shot. Maybe give us one of your favorite prop bets. Put that in the comments. But Scott Anderson says, I bet Hatton at 25-1 and Morikawa at 28-1 2 weeks ago in Vegas. Well, Scott, good for you to be just being in Vegas. That's good. I love being in Vegas. That's fantastic. I like both of those players. However, at the beginning of the year, sometimes we'll talk about futures. And I just think the Open is one of those that's tough to put a future bet on. I think the PGA, you can do it. The Masters, you can do it. The US Open, you can do it. But the Open Championship, again, going back to the weather draw, it's tough to play, to put too much money down on futures. In Scott's case, he got Hatton at 25-1. Right now, you can easily find Hatton at 30-1. And then he got Morikawa at what did he get Morikawa at?
28-1.
28-1, which
he's around 35 to
he's
1
at
now.
35 now. So, like, I don't know. I just think, not trying to pick on Scott, but maybe lesson learned for next year. I think you hold off on too many future bullets for the Open Championship. There's definitely some win. This is going to be interesting. I think, being able to control your distances into these greens, control your ball flight is going to be obviously key. And we talk about it every year for the Open and most majors, really. Patience is required more so than ever. That grinder mentality that can deal with tough conditions, tough breaks, bad lies, a tough break in a deep pot bunker beside the green, a bad weather draw, whatever it may be. Like, the Open just kind of throws everything at you. This is not perfect golf in Augusta, right? It's a different thing, which I love to see. But you got to be patient and you got to have some mental fortitude. And we see a lot of experience win the Open Championship. Pat, anything else along those lines that sticks out to you before you kind of start narrowing down your picks?
No, I agree. I think controlling your ball, the ball flight, all that kind of stuff out here on this type of a course is huge. You got to be patient. You got to have some creativity around this course. You're going to get bad lies, but you're going to have a lot of bump and runs. I love the bump and run, but you don't know what it's going to do. You don't know what it's going to do when you're just off the green and you got a lot of room in there and you just trying to get it up close to the hole. I mean, this is just a course where guys that I think have a lot of patience, creativity. They can, they're not going to get too upset if they, hit a perfect shot and it's bad. Like I could just see Bryson yelling a lot on these courses because, what was the tournament? Was it the US Open where he got a bad lie or something? He's like, this is stupid effing hole. He was just so pissed. Like every hole would be a stupid effing hole to Bryson, I think, on a course like this. But yeah. So I think it's going to be one of those guys. I like the ball strikers and, guys that are really good putters in general. Okay. I'm not necessarily looking at surfaces, but just guys that, typically show up week in and week out as good putters. I think that's going to be key this week.
Yeah. And don't forget, before we move on, we're going to get to the picks here, but before we move on, we've got a lot of content coming out this week. We got the DFS show that's already out. Pat has a tremendous fantasy golf sommelier planned for this week. That'll be up on the YouTube channel if it's not already. You got the chalk bomb coming out fresh off the, predicting the Bryson miscut. You've got the 10 facts are going to be up on the website if they're not already out. AC's DraftKings preview picks articles out. My Big Balls betting card, Pat's betting card. There's going to be plenty of stuff going on. And of course, the Nut Hut chat, which is the place to be. If there were ever a week to join the Nut Hut, it is Open Championship week. If there were ever a week, we have countless players and caddies on site that we're going to talk to between now and then. Our very own Tour Junkies, Ash Morrison, lives in Kent, England. He's a head pro at a golf course less than an hour away from there, plays it all the time. We're going to hear from him. We're going to have tons of inside information going into the Nut Hut. And then, of course, the chat. So the chat Wednesday night is going to be me and Pat, AC, kicking it for a couple hours, talking about what we think of the weather draw, what we think of these ownership projections if you're playing DraftKings, talking about final bets and locking that in. Because don't forget, for you United States folks, right, they're going to tee off in the middle of the night. So you got to lock it up quick. Don't fall asleep. Don't pass out and wake up Thursday morning and be screwed. Yeah. So the Nut Hut chat is going to be crucial. If you're not a member of the Nut Hut, this is the tournament to get in for it. It's $10 a month or $90 a year. Go to tourjunkies.com, click on Golby's Nut Hut, and sign up. Give it a shot. Along with almost 500 others, get in there and mix it up with us. I promise you won't regret it. We have so much fun in there. A lot of laughs, a lot of good intel, a lot of people making a lot of money in the Nut Hut, and you get 20% off all your Tour Junkies shop purchases for the lifetime of your membership. Join the Nut Hut, I promise. Listen, if you are a Nut Hut member, comment in the YouTube channel why people should join the Nut Hut and just peer pressure the crap out of them. Just do that. If you don't join the Nut Hut this week, you know what you are, Pat?
What are you? Dumbass. I knew that was coming. That thing is gonna have. You're gonna have.
Wear it out.
That button is gonna break eventually.
I'm gonna wear it out.
Put it on a different button.
I'm gonna wear it out. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the button. So like it's gonna be faded, and I'm not gonna be able to tell what it says. Yeah, it's just gonna be a big week. So make sure you do that. Along with the Nut Hut, and we're about to get in the picks here. I think a pro move is to go and take a day off of work. I think you got to take a day off of work during the Open Championship. Get up early, get the wife and the kids off to wherever they're going, get your coffee, sit there in your underwear, and watch the coverage, okay? And then slowly start to work your way to the golf course. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to do at some point this week, I think. I think I'm going to do that. And when I get there and I get on the course and it gets past like 10 o'clock, I'm going to eat and I'm going to probably enjoy one of my favorite beverages, an Arnold Palmer Spiked, right? I love Arnold Palmer, the man, the myth, the legend. I got to meet him. I got to spend some time with him personally at Augusta National back in 2008. He's a great man. He's a legend. And now he's got a spiked beverage. It's the classic taste of iced tea and lemonade, and it's got 5% alcohol by volume, which is more than you can say about a lot of popular adult beverages, okay? Real fruit juice, brewed teas, very smooth flavor. I'm telling you guys, if you're on the golf course, if you're not on the golf course, if you're at the home eating dinner, if you're not at home eating dinner, the Arnold Palmer Spiked is the thing for you. It's classic refreshment, and it's got that good balance of tea and lemonade and alcohol, really, which is great. And it comes in multi-packs and a 24-ounce tall boy if you want. So it's perfect. If we're sipping, slowly sipping on the boat, maybe you're on the lake. Pat, I know you like to go get on the boat, you get golf course, that kind of thing. So you got to do it. So find Arnold Palmer Spiked in a store near you at arnoldpalmerspiked.com/Tour Junkies, or you can search for it on Drizzly and Instacart. That's arnoldpalmer.com/Tour Junkies to find where Arnold Palmer Spiked is sold near you. I also think Drizzly may be a rapper. I'm not exactly sure.
I was just about to ask, like,
what a Drizzly is. If anyone knows what that is, let us know. I've never heard of that, but Drizzly sounds like a platinum recording artist, a hip hopper. So anyway, check out arnoldpalmerspiked.com/Tour Junkies 2021 Hornell Brewing Company, Memphis, Tennessee, malt beverage with natural flavor. Celebrate responsibly. Producer Sam says it's like Grubhub but for booze. That's fantastic.
Drizzly sounds like if Drizzly shows up at your house with some Arnold Palmer Spiked, like y'all are about to have some good time. You and Drizzly.
Oh yeah.
And Drizzly about to have a good time.
You probably think you want something. That's like a Publishers Clearinghouse kind of thing. You open the door and Ed McMahon or whoever's standing there with that big check and the balloons. If Drizzly shows up with a thing of Arnold Palmer Spiked and he's like, oh, or whatever it is. If he does that, your night's about to get forgotten. Like you're gonna black out and forget things. That sounds great. Also, if that exists, why are they not sponsoring our podcast? Does anybody know anybody at Drizzly HQ? That is a perfect podcast sponsorship. You guys go on Twitter and pressure them. We need them. We really need them.
We need Drizzly knocking on the front door during the show.
Yeah, I need Drizzly in my life. If you had Drizzly in your life, I don't know that you'd ever get a show done.
No, it'd be impossible.
Who thought of is that legal to deliver booze like that? That's freaking brilliant. I want to interview whoever created Drizzly. God, I'm fired up about that. All right, Pat, let's get to it. Let's look at the top of the betting board. We're kind of comparing some odds here between DraftKings Sportsbook, PointsBet. Those are a couple of our favorite books. This is another reminder that you need to have more than one book, okay? Because a lot of discrepancy, as Pat mentioned earlier, in these lines. If you like certain guys, man, I've seen some big differences in numbers between a few players here on DraftKings Sportsbook and PointsBet. And hey, if you need a promo code, if you haven't signed up yet and you're in a state where it's legal, go to tourjunkies.com and check out our sportsbooks page and click on one of those, get you a promo and help us out. All right, Pat, top of the betting board, obviously the favorite is Jon Rahm, as he should be. Number one player in the world right now. Total stud, played well at the Scottish Open last week. Could have won, probably didn't want to win. I don't know, probably just, whatever. Brooks Koepka, Xander, Rory, Jordan, JT, DJ, Hovland, Louis. That's kind of your top guys there. So we like to kind of break this up a little bit, and let's look at your favorites up to 25-1, including one player that you advise folks to stay away from. So, Pat, what are you doing in this range up to 25-1? Who's catching your eye early? And again, we don't advise that you lock in your bets right now. We think you should wait till Wednesday. So let's just get that out there again. Disclaimer.
Yeah. Well, there are two that really pop to me up to 25 to 1. One is Jordan Spieth. You can get him at 20 to 1 on PointsBet. I love that number for him. I've seen him a little bit shorter in some other books, but I love some Jordan Spieth this week at 20 to 1. You
Yeah.
know, he's obviously won an Open Championship before. I mentioned just being creative as far as being a player like that, patient. Now he's certainly vocal and whatever else out on the golf course, but still he has a lot of creativity, great ball striker, good around the greens, great putter in general. So I love some Jordan Spieth this week at 20 to 1. And then, a guy playing his first Open Championship, Victor Hovland at 25 to 1, right at the
Ooh.
top end there. I like Victor. You know, he had to withdraw from the US Open because he, got a little sand in his eye or whatever it was. But then he goes and wins the next tournament that he plays overseas at the BMW International. I think a guy like Victor, who does have experience playing, internationally, even though this is his first Open Championship, I like the value there at 25 to 1. So Jordan and Victor are my two favorites here. The guy I want to, I'd love to play him, but, outside of the obvious, I think you could say Rom would be the one you would avoid just because I don't really like that 8 to 1
We
number.
don't bet favorites. We don't bet the
But
top guy.
for me, it's Xander. It's Xander for me at
Hmm.
18 to 1. I just don't really like that. I don't think he's gonna play well this week. Um, and he never wins the big one. He's been up there, a few times, but just hasn't had a whole lot of victories. So I'm not a big fan of Xander this week.
Okay. Okay. I love the Jordan Spieth call, 20 to 1 on PointsBet. Total agreement there. I mean, listen, he just sets up perfectly for this place. I mean, we talked about needing to be a grinder. You're going to miss greens here with the conditions being tough with the wind and all that kind of stuff. The links play. You got to be able to get up and down. You got to be creative. That's perfect for Jordan Spieth. It suits him perfectly. And if you're one of those guys who's like, hey, I think he might be chalk I'm going to fade in DFS, I say bet him. I don't think you can. I don't think it's wise to go with zero Jordan Spieth exposure for a guy like us, guys like us who play DFS and bet. If you're doing both, he's just not a guy that I want to avoid completely. You know what I mean? Like I want
Not at all.
some exposure, and at 20 to 1, I really like the number. I mean, if I were making the odds, I would make him the second guy after John Rahm. Honestly, I just think the way that this place sets up for him, I'd probably put him tied with the other guy that I like in this range, and that's Brooks Koepka at 18 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. I think John Rahm is clearly the number one favorite. After that, if I were setting lines, it would be Jordan and Brooks right here at 18 to 1 or whatever the next two guys should be. But I love Brooks here. A lot of people forget he cut his teeth on the Challenge Tour, so kind of the web.com or Corn Ferry Tour version of the European Tour. So played college golf at Florida State, then went on and did the Challenge Tour thing, and like he's got an incredible links record. He's comfortable on links courses. He's got a good Open Championship record. Obviously, he's got a great major championship record. He's as motivated as ever, I think, right now to go ahead and get another trophy. Working towards that six-pack battle that he had with Bryson a year or so ago during quarantine. Like, I just feel like Brooks at 18 to 1. I think we're getting such good value on these guys because Rahm is so clearly dominant right now. I'm a little if had you told me a month ago after the PGA, much less even the U.S. Open, where he had another good finish, but had you told me a month ago that Brooks would be 18 to 1 at the Open, like that's a good number. So I like those two guys a lot, Spieth and Brooks. My fate is DJ, man. I think DJ at and he's a big name at an attractive number around that 23 to 1 line. But the recent form, which is something that you see is very critical for past Open Championship winners, is definitely spotty. I mean, 19th at the U.S. Open, missed the cut at the PGA, missed the cut at the Masters, 48th at the Players. Those are just some of the tough tournaments that he's played since 2021, and they're not great. His last top 10 was at Palmetto. I'm sorry, that's the tournament we shall not name, but that was a weird event in general. He's just been a little off. He hasn't been the dominant DJ or putting it all together, and I think while he may have a good week, and if he comes in super low owned in DFS, I'm not saying you don't play him there, but to bet him outright, I think you avoid DJ here. Every player in here has the name value and the cachet to make us look stupid for fading him, but I think DJ feels like the safest one to avoid here.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know if I would bet DJ. I think, if we're talking like playing DFS or fantasy, he's looking to be super low owned. So I do like that. But for betting, I'm not a big fan of DJ. I do agree with that. I will ask, though, what do you think about JT? JT is somebody that I think, just like Brooks Koepka, we're getting, pretty good odds on when you think about value versus, some of the top guys in this field. He's at 20.5 to 1, 21 to 1, that area this week. Coming off of a pretty good performance, at the Scottish Open. JT, and we talked about this before when he won the Players Championship, because we got JT over 20 to 1, and we were like, you got to hammer that. I think this could be another position, where you might have to look at that for JT.
I guess
everybody saw the top on social media and whatever else, but these guys all do that kind of shit. So
I guess it's hard for me to make the case to play JT and fade DJ when their recent form is kind of the same. Like, it's other than JT winning the Players, so having a more recent victory, or at least having a win in 2021. Whereas DJ's last win was the Masters in 2020. His form hasn't been great either. It honestly hasn't. But, I don't mind it. I guess in general, I like JT a little more to bet than DJ typically, but that's just personal preference. I tend to just do that. I think I just like JT more than DJ. So
I think what's interesting to me up here too is how big the spread is between Rahm versus everybody else.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think because of Rahm's dominance, we're getting some good value on some of these guys.
Yeah.
All right, as we move on to the next range, the 25, above 25 to 1 up to 75 to 1. I think the first thing we got to talk about is Bryson. Bryson is now at 35 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook, which is kind of insane. Now, I can't stand Bryson DeChambeau as a person, right? Now, fun fact. Yeah, I know. Fun fact, though, I have actually hit him as a winner publicly when he won the Northern Trust or whatever it was a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever it was. He was like 70, 80 to 1 is when he first started winning tournaments. It was the year he won his first tournament. So, like, I'm not afraid to bet him, but I don't typically bet him because he's been so juiced up lately because the public's so in love with him. But now he splits with his caddy. And listen, don't buy the bull. Don't buy that stuff on his Instagram account, pointing you to his golf.com article that he wants you to read, that him and Tim had a nice little split up there. That did not happen. I can tell you that right now. There were issues with him and Tim Tucker. He's got a new guy on the bag that's also one of his coaches. It's a speed coach. It's a guy he's very comfortable with. This is not some noob that's sitting on his back. However, it clearly affected him the last tournament he played in at the Rocket Mortgage. He missed the cut. And granted, Tim withdrew last minute, right? But even the Open Championship itself does not feel like the best event for Bryson. 2 missed cuts, a T51 or whatever is his only 3 attempts at the Open Championship. He's the distance may be neutralized here more so than other places. But the thing that scares me the most is honestly his around the green play. It's just the around the green stuff. And it's not really even the creativity. I think he's a creative player. I think he's an artistic player. He's not just numbers, data, science, blah, blah, math, like calculus. Here's the ball go in hole because I calculate. He's not just that. He is kind of an artist, right? But he can't execute around the greens. And I think he's kind of shown that. It's not been consistent. It's popped here and there. All that to say, 35 to 1 for Bryson, and the win cachet that he gives you if he's clicking is too steep to pass up. In fact, this feels like a let him hang prediction for me, just for me, because I can't stand the guy and I usually don't bet him. But it's kind of a no-brainer to me to go ahead and fire right now. Even if you're watching this live on Monday night and we just told you to hold off until Wednesday to see tee time waves, I think you just fire at 35-1. I just think that's too steep for a guy like Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, that's longer than Victor Hovland, Victor Hovland's a great ball striker, equally as terrible around the greens. And I know you mentioned him. I'm not trying to crap on him, but equally terrible around the greens, maybe worse around the greens, although improving. Never won a major. He's longer than that. He's longer than Terrell Hatton, who gets talked up a lot, never won a major, right? Only won once on the PGA Tour, maybe twice now on the PGA Tour. Like, that's just a long number to me. What do you think about Bryson?
Well, I like that number. I don't like him on this course or this style of play, but I do agree that that's a hard number to really pass up when you're getting him at 35-1. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. So I think you almost have to bet that, but there are a lot of factors that are, contributing to that number being where it is. I mean, one, the caddy, which you mentioned, got somebody new on the bag, did not look good at all the last time we saw him at the Rocket Mortgage. I think his style of play is there. I think he went a little too far to say he's artistic. I don't know if he is artistic. I just think that he still has that bomb and gouge type mentality, which just doesn't really work here. But still, 35-1. I think it's a number you at least got to put some money on.
Yeah. If it were 20-1, I would be like, no way. I'll take Spieth, I'll take Brooks, shorter at 18. I'll do all that. But 35-1 is too good. Also, shout out to live listener, regular Nut Hut member, also TourJunkies.com contributor for the LPGA Tour, Marcus Miklovich, has confirmed that Drizzly's DMs on Twitter are open. So thank you, Marcus, for doing that the Lord's work there and already sliding up in those things. Every Tour Junkies fan that's on Twitter needs to search at Drizzly, DRIZLY, and get up in those DMs and be like, yo, y'all need to be sponsoring this podcast because this is a match made in heaven. So, Kistler, what up? All right, so that's Bryson. Okay. By the way, I got a feeling I'm getting nervous again. God, I just got like butterflies all over.
Yeah, you should be nervous.
I got a feeling the wife is about to come up here at any point and go ahead and apply the wax to my inner thigh and put me in pain. So I'm not happy about this. Yeah. Okay. So let's just keep it moving because that'll keep me distracted. All right, my favorite play in here, I love Patrick Cantlay at 30-1. I talked about it ad nauseum on the DFS show. What's not to like? Ball striker, distance control at a premium, playing great. Just won the Memorial despite John Rahm's COVID stuff. But anyway, we won't talk about that. I think Patrick Cantlay is the tits, and I think he's often underrated and undervalued in the books. I think he's going to win multiple majors, and I think the Open Championship at Royal St. George's could be his first. Enough said. So I'm going Patrick Cantlay here in the top of this range, kind of the first one I'm firing at. But I love this range. I mean, I have some names in the long shot range, but this middle range is really where a lot of meat is at. And that's not an inner thigh joke. That's not an inner thigh joke. I'm also a big fan of Scotty Scheffler at 50-1. He's a better number on PointsBet. Scheffler, still looking for the first victory, period, right? Like he hasn't won even on the PGA Tour yet, but man, has he been close, and has he been close in big events. In a very short PGA Tour career, Scotty Scheffler has racked up plenty of top fives and top tens. Fourth at the 2020 PGA, was kind of in it down the stretch on Sunday when Morikawa won. Fifth at the Tour Championship at East Lake in a big field. Played well at the Masters. Fifth at the WGC Mexico. Eighth at the PGA at Kiowa. Third at Memorial. Seventh at the U.S. Open. Like, had a great week at the Scottish last week. Scotty Scheffler is a total driving just dime, right? He's like this.
Did Scheffler did he come into your dreams one night and just say, DB, you need to listen to Pat on
Yeah,
Scheffler.
I know, man.
because like
You
a few
typically
weeks
love that.
ago,
I
like a
know.
few weeks ago, you gave me all kinds of hell
I know. I
for
don't.
you would be a Scotty Scheffler guy, and I'm like, I don't even know what that meant, but you were telling me I was a Scotty Scheffler guy, and
I know, man.
now all of a sudden you're just loving him this week.
You're right, man. It's weird. It's just kind of happening though, man. And then today he posts that Twitter video of him hitting that stinger off the tee with a driver that
He's got
literally
great natural ability, which is what you need.
literally did not get 12 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
It was insane. And now the course is a little softer this week. You don't have to do that, but it was unbelievable. He does have a lot of natural ability. I think for me, and I talked about on the DFS show, I won't talk about it a lot, but it's the total driving here. It's the fact that he hits a lot of fairways for a guy that also hits it a long way. And I think with that being on this softer course and a little bit shorter, he's going to have a lot of short clubs into these greens, and his greens and regulation numbers are good. And I think he's kind of got one of these like ho-hum mentalities where he doesn't get rattled. We've not seen him rattled at all. We've seen him just very even keel, and I feel like he could close the door on one of these things. He's confident as anything. I like him a lot at 50-1.
Yeah, I like Scheffler too.
All right, give me a couple names. I got more in here, but I'll let you throw.
All right, I got a few in here. I'll throw. One is Louis Oosthuizen at 30-1 on PointsBet. The guy just, we talk about Brooks Koepka being a big game hunter when it comes to majors. Well, Uzi is too. Now, he hasn't broken through except for the one Open Championship several years ago. But he's just playing so solid this year, and it's across the board. I mean, you look at approach, top 20 in the field, scrambling, top 20. He's 35th in ball striking. He's top 10 in bogey avoidance, which I think is something that you need to look at as well for these guys. For a tournament like this, where you do have to grind it out, not making a lot of bogeys. I like Louis Usti at 30-1.
Louis Usti. I don't like Louis at that number. I just don't. I don't mind Louis.
Why would you not? I mean, he's.
Do we really think he's gonna close the door now? I just don't. I don't like the number.
Who knows? Maybe he's more motivated than ever after two straight
maybe
second place finishes, third place.
Yeah.
So I do like, and he's been pretty damn good here. I mean, other than the win, he did have a second back here in 2015 when Zach Johnson won, top 20 when Shane won a couple of years ago. And it is just always up there in majors. So I do, and I think he's going to give you a shot come Sunday at 30-1. I like that number. Also Matthew Fitzpatrick, he's at 40-1. A guy that's been playing good all year. Saw him play well last week at the Scottish Open. I think he's another one to look out for this week. I like Fitzy. Here's a little kind of sneaky one for you. For all of our Aussie friends out there.
Oh, you don't have any Aussie friends.
Mark Leishman.
No. You're not going to take Leishman from me. I talked him up on the DFS show. You
did not. You did not talk him up on the DFS show.
I did. Check the tape. Producer Sam, did I not mention Mark Leishman last night? Yes, I did. Don't you
take him from me. I'm taking him from you. No. You didn't like Jason Day. You just fake it.
Jason Day really an Aussie? Like he's a wuss. You know what I mean? Like Jason Day's way too soft to be an Aussie.
Sam doesn't even remember, by the way. Sam. Way to go, Sam. He doesn't remember. He said he was too drunk.
You don't have to remember. I'm just telling you, I know my Aussies, and Jason Day's way too soft to be an Australian.
Well, either way, Mark Leishman at 70-1. I do like. He has been playing, not too bad lately. Kind of has
not too good, but also not too bad.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want to continue with your Leishman pick, then go ahead.
No, I mean, I marked the territory last night. You go respraying out where I was, but okay.
Respraying. I mean, look, he's not gonna really, check a ton of boxes when you look at the stats, but a couple things that I will note. Strokes gained putting overall very good, top 20 in the field. He's 22nd in the field in ball striking in windy AF conditions, which if you don't know what that is, that's windy as fuck conditions that Fantasy National puts out there.
I think 17 miles an hour or greater is what it is.
Yeah, which is what we're going to get this week. So very good in windy conditions. Has had a pretty good history playing in Open Championships. Another guy like like Usti, who was second to Zach Johnson back in 2015. So
What do
I like
you?
Lee.
Yeah, I agree. All right, what do you think about Lee Westwood? He's at 50. Well,
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know why DraftKings does this, but he's at 56.5 to 1. I don't know why. Like they pick like 4 players to
To
put
give a half to.
a half on. It's very weird every year, every week, and it really messes me up. I don't enjoy that. He's 56.5 to 1. Do like just going with the narrative street and like the Open Championship being this thing where Tom Watson nearly won and experience really matters. And a year where Stuart Sinks won twice, Phil Mickelson won the PGA. He's in his home country of England. He's borderline there on the Ryder Cup standings, which I think is another thing you need to look at. He's 13th in the Ryder Cup standings right now. I mean, Lee Westwood's been golfing his ball this year, and he's on the bubble and could earn his way onto the Ryder Cup team very easily. And he's 56.5 to 1. He's confident, played okay.
Well, we've seen older guys like him, play well in these type, if Tom Watson can almost win this tournament.
That's what I just said. What is Wes Bearden? I know you have an issue with Wes Bearden, and I've come to his defense before, but what is Wes Bearden, Jason Day would school DB on the course? No, Sherlock, he would school me on the course. He's freaking Jason Day. What are you talking about, Wes? That's a terrible comment. You should be booted. If this were the Pat Mayo show, you'd be banned for life for that. What are we talking about? Yes, he would school me on the golf course. What are you talking about? God, that's a dumb comment, Wes. Really dumb. Anyway,
Wes is an equal opportunity commenter.
He's an equal opportunity offender, I guess. I don't know. I'm a little tempted by Westwood at 56.5 to 1. If he has the good draw, I might, and I saw a little bit that the European Tour did this week or last week, but they published it this week. They're so good on social. I saw that little bit they did about the fake golf pundit, and he was on there, and he's just funny to watch, and it made me like him a little bit. And I was like, God, what's Westwood's number? So it's like a little bit of that likability and a little bit of that. He's 48 years old. You're like, God, he's probably looking at Phil, who he's fought all his career, and looking at Phil winning the PGA and just going, oh, bloody hell, if Phil can do it, I can do it. He's got to be thinking stuff like that. And it just made me want to bet him. So I think if he's got the right side of the draw, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to bust a quarter a unit on Westwood at 56.5 to 1.
I just never feel like I could even get him right, but I would love to see it. I feel like Westwood just gets so much credit in majors. Everybody's always like, Lee Westwood has got to win a major because he's never won one in his life. And they just continue to throw money on him, and then he's never going to win one.
I got to give two more guys in here. I'll make it quick. Daniel Berger at 60 to 1. I think that's an interesting value. Doesn't have a great Open Championship record with 2 missed cuts and a 27th, but has a really strong record in general at tough courses and tough fields. He shows up at big events, and he's playing well right now. He's playing really well right now. Has he even
gotten out of COVID protocol yet? Do we know that did the whole flight that came over from the John Deere Classic? What if the whole flight got COVID and they're all going to miss this damn tournament?
I know Zach Johnson tested positive before he got on the flight, so thank God that happened before Berger got on there with him. But I don't know. Who knows? Again, this is Monday night, so I'm saying pump the brakes. I'm not recommending Berger right now. You bet him, but he's one that pops for me at 60 to 1 because his ball striking is incredible, and in his last few events, everything is green, which is good on Fantasy National. Strokes gained off
green
the tee,
is good.
approach, strokes gained around the green, strokes gained putting. Everything is green. 7th at the U.S. Open, 9th at the Players earlier this year, won the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He's just a solid dude and can flight the golf ball, hits it low, controls the golf ball really well with that little cut he hits. I think Berger's interesting at 60 to 1. I like even more so, though, Harris English and the confidence that the Georgia Bulldog must be showing up in after winning the Travelers, finishing 3rd at the U.S. Open, winning the Tournament of Champions first thing this year. English has just tee to green been an absolute stud. And believe it or not, he's played in 6 Open Championships. He's got plenty of experience, and he's only missed 1 cut out of those 6. He doesn't have a lot of great finishes, but English at 70 to 1, The number one thing at the Open is recent form. Number one thing. And Harris has got to be feeling good about himself. And coming off that win, I just like it. So that's my last one here in this range. God, when is my wife going to come up here? Like, I'm ready to get this
I'm
over.
actually just commented in the chat that are you just stalling this whole deal so that you can drink more and thus it's not going to hurt so bad?
Dude, that's a great, yeah.
I mean, I think there's this. You're using some strategy here, is what I feel like, or your wife is being great, and it's the suspense thing, and that's really hurting you too. So I don't know. But.
Yeah. Wes, never mind. I'm not even going to address. Okay, now we're up into the past 75 to 1, up to 125 to 1. Names we like here. There's a bunch of options here. I mean, well, I'll let you start. You start. Oh God. Okay, here she is.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Woo. I need another beer. Can I hold off until I get another beer?
Huh? Okay, producer Sam wants me to remind the people of the bet that I lost. Okay, me and Pat made a bet on the U.S. Open show that I like Justin Thomas. He liked Jordan Spieth. I thought Justin Thomas would beat him. Justin Thomas was beating him until his 16th hole when he duck hooked a iron on a par 3 and ended up making double, and so they tied, and then the tiebreaker was DraftKings points, and Jordan Spieth beat him there. It was in the midst of Pat's heater, and I lost the bet. It was the best friends bet. Here we go. So, Ms. Domination, my lovely wife, is here. Pat's going to get another beer. Like, where'd he go? Like, this started, and there he goes. He disappears. So, the wax is prepared, and oh, God, there's the strip. I was debating between my butt cheek or my inner thigh, and I don't know. I don't think this is going to be good. But here we go. I apologize to the. Huh?
How are you gonna?
No, you're gonna need to come around here. Come right here, because I'm gonna.
A little wet nappy for pain relief afterward.
Hey,
Ooh.
Kristen.
Thank you. Oh.
Only for pain relief. Back up.
Did you bring the? Hold on. Look at the.
No, this is not a product placement.
No, hold on. There's directions in here about how this goes. Wes Bearden says, "Rip it off hard, wifey." You know what, Wes? You're about to get banned.
I hate that I can't hear everything. I feel like I'm in the dark.
There's nobody else.
Just lay back. Lay back.
I'm not gonna lay back. I gotta do.
They can't see your thigh.
I know. I'm about to prop it up.
I don't know that they want to see your thigh.
Oh.
Wow! It's glistening.
Right there.
Okay, let's see.
Whoa.
No, honey. No, you don't get to pick.
Yeah, no picking, DB.
Oh, you're going this way.
No, you go in the direction of the hair.
Yeah, go in the direction of the hair.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Now put your hand, like, press down hard. Press down hard. Make sure it's in there.
This is a swivel chair, and I feel like I'm gonna hurt myself. I think I'm gonna tear when this happens.
Wait, Kristen, are you gonna tear slowly or quickly? Like, how do you do this?
No, Pat's saying, are you tearing slowly or quickly? You have to tear.
You
quickly.
have to do it quickly, or it won't come.
Ha!
Oh my gosh! That's so
Wait, is it hot enough? Is it hot wax?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. What?
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it is what?
Oh God. Okay, don't go slow. Don't go slow.
Yes, it is. What?
You just
Do it. Do it.
Wait a minute. I shouldn't say your tongue on it.
Stop laughing. Stop laughing. Do it.
I gotta back up a little. I gotta have some space to rip it. Grip it and rip it, right?
Oh, Frank! Yes!
Oh.
Look, there's a foot.
Oh.
Wow, particularly the top and bottom portion of this are like particularly hairy.
Man, that was fantastic.
Yeah,
that was better than I thought it was going to be.
You can't tell. That is baby soft right there.
Wow.
That's going to be red, though, tomorrow.
Fantastic. Here's your nappy. Somebody said this.
My leg is shaking. My leg is shaking.
His man.
Yeah, I love. But this is almost better than the heater of a week that I had for the U.S. Open. This moment is just as good.
I'm
pull yourself together, man.
I'm actually shaking. Okay, thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
I mean, she's had to slap me in the face. She's had to.
No,
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't have to slap you in the face.
I am shaking.
Look, I
Freaking
think you
hurt.
missed some. Get now, Dan. Comments are golden.
Misdomination
Oh
sounds
wow.
fascinating.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Right there.
Okay.
Don't worry about him.
Oh really?
Oh,
I think that means I need to worry about.
I am so shaky. Oh, why are my hands so oily? What is
Yeah.
this? Babe, what is
It
this?
just came with it. It says
Ah!
post-wax cloth. After waxing, use this cloth to soothe and remove any excess stickiness.
Look at how
Yeah.
oily that
was
is.
your palm
I want to
sweating.
follow the directions, DB. Otherwise, you could have some redness down there.
Okay.
Well, shout out, Daniel Beta.
Oh, thank you, babe.
Fine.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Kristen.
I'll maybe I'll post a picture
We got one fresh one here.
of how. No, we don't need another one. You
Let's
babe,
do it. Do another one.
You can use that one. I can use it on you later.
No, there's nothing to do on me.
Oh, okay.
All right, thanks for watching the Tour Junkies podcast. You guys have a great week. Take your Revenge of the Nerds laugh elsewhere. Woo. Okay.
What time's the show?
Give me like 20 minutes, boo. 20 minutes. David Speaks says, "What a great wife." Yes, she is, man. She is. She's a gamer. You got to see like my thigh because of that post wax oil strip she gave me is like glistening off the ring light right now. Where were we? I have no idea. Producer Sam, do you know where we were? I don't know.
I think we were in that 75 to 125 to 1 range, maybe.
Okay, why don't you start so I can like my heart rate can drop a little bit.
That was great. That was awesome. Okay. Who do I have here in this range? Oh,
somebody in the nut told me last week that the inner thigh would be more painful because there's more pain receptors. And at the end of the day, I want you guys to know that it freaking hurt, but I did it because you guys could see it. You know, if I did my butt cheeks,
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to put that on YouTube. Nobody be able to see it. It just kind of be like anticlimactic. So
you kind of sacrifice for
I did it. Yeah. Yeah. And it's actually still tingling actively as we speak. But man, it is like so smooth. God, it's smooth.
I mean, do you like touching it or something? You just like
I'm not touching it because it's like an oil slick right now, but I might later. Well, I may not have to later, but maybe in a couple days.
Okay. Anyway, in this range, Brandon Grace at 80 to 1. He's 80 to 1 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I like him a lot this week. A guy that we've seen play very well all year long, has a good Open Championship history. I think, we just saw him win the Puerto Rico Open a few months ago or a couple months ago. So I think Brandon Grace is a good number there at 80 to 1. Another guy that I like that I just don't see a lot of people talking about, and he's going to check a ton of boxes, and I know he has not won, but that's Abraham Answer at 90 to 1.
No.
I like Answer at 90 to 1. Yep, I do. I like him.
I don't.
Why? Other than that he hasn't won, like why don't you like him?
You ever heard of this thing called maybe some stats? Let me hit you with a few. Let me tell you what Abraham Answer sucks butt at. That is strokes gained around the green. Terrible. Short term, long term, any way you slice it.
Yeah, but
terrible. Let me tell you what else.
When you're hitting greens,
yeah, but you're not going to
20 player in the field. You're top 15 in ball striking. You're fifth in the field in putting. Okay. You're third in good drives gained, meaning you're hitting. You're doing well off the tee and into these greens. I think Answer makes a lot of sense at 90 to 1.
There is
90 to 1.
No way Abraham Answer wins this golf tournament. He is an accurate player. Yes. He's a good ball striker. Yes. Short. Yes. Short in stature, short in distance. Yes. But you're not going to hit greens in regulation at a high clip here. This is not the Travelers. This is the Open Championship. So you have to get up and down. And the putting is good. I like that about Answer. Yes, sure, fine. But the scrambling is terrible. The bunker play. If you look at sand saves over 100 rounds, over 50 rounds, over 24 rounds, over 12 rounds, I don't care how you look at it, it sucks. It's like bottom of the field bad. He's bad out of the bunkers. He's bad when he misses greens, and he's gonna miss greens. And he's never won on the PGA Tour. Now, I think he's been close. Have I bet Abraham Answer? 100%. Do I think he's going to win on the PGA Tour? 100%. Do I think his first win? Do I think he has the chops to make his first win the Open? Absolutely not. Does Scotty Scheffler? Absolutely. Yes, there's a big difference between these guys. Like, the chops are different, and I don't buy it with Abraham Answer. And I understand he's 90-1, but I think that's a waste of whatever you're going to spend on it.
Why? So what do you like so much more about Scheffler than you do about Abraham Answer?
I like that he's proven it in major championships.
They both haven't won. They both haven't won.
Did you just hear what I said? I like that he's proven it in major championships. Look at their major championship record. Look at their difficult golf course record. I like the total driving better. I like that Scheffler, may not be quite as accurate, but he's pretty freaking accurate for a guy who bombs it. And the around the green play is better. I like a lot of things better than Scheffler.
Well, I mean, you said Answer's going to miss a lot of greens.
He is.
Yet he's top 20 in the field in greens and regulation. So that means he doesn't like. What do you think is going to be so different?
I'm just saying that you're going to miss more greens at the Open naturally. Anybody.
Scheffler's 65th in greens and regulation.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
He's 42nd in approach. Answer's 29th.
Megan Dane is on here. That's my freaking neighbor. Best thing I've seen all night, watching me get my legs waxed. Thank you, Megan, for watching.
Yeah, there you go. Megan in here.
She's married, people, by the way, before y'all start saying stuff. She's married. Okay. I disagree with Answer, but that's fine. You keep going.
It's 90-1. It's 90-1. I think there's a lot of value there for a guy.
Way more guys I'd rather spend on at 90-1. A lot more guys. Who else you got?
Okay. Couple more that I like in here. Lucas Herbert. He is at 100-1.
You know he's Aussie?
I don't, whatever. It doesn't matter. I like him this week at 100-1, and also like Kiz at 90-1 as well. Kevin Kisner has played well in Open Championships before, and we've seen him 2 straight top 10 finishes. So I like Kiz at 90-1. By the way, a couple top 20s here.
No. Hold on top 20s. We're gonna hit top 20s in a second. What'd you say you had Herbert at?
100-1.
All right, Kiz is 125-1 on PointsBet. That may be recent.
So yeah, maybe
I like both of those calls actually. I like Kiz and Herbert, but Kiz is 125-1 on PointsBet. I think that's a very interesting number. I will add to it Robert McIntyre at 90-1 on DraftKings. Long hitting lefty, T6 at his first Open Championship in 2019. He's starting to come around. Played well at the Scottish, got plenty of links experience. He's from Scotland, like that's what they do. So I like him. I like the Kisner bet. I like the Herbert bet. Who else do I have in here? I didn't talk about this guy on the DraftKings show because I feel like I always talk about him. But when I saw his odds, I was like, okay, I think I kind of have to talk about him. I always talk about Matt Wallace. I know. I'm kind of a homer for Matt Wallace. Doesn't have a great Open Championship record. The Englishman has a miscut and a 51st at the Open, but has had a decent 2021. It's not been great, but it's been decent. He's 100-1 on both books, DraftKings or PointsBet. I don't know. I'm not super confident with it, but it's one that I'm kind of watching. If he has a good draw, it's one I'm kind of watching. That's it. That's all for me in this range. Do you have something to say?
No, that's old.
Kistler just said Lewis Earbert, which I freaking love, and no one else is going to get that. But yes,
he is. I do get it now.
He literally has one ear that sticks out. Like, I don't have big ears, but he has one, and bless his heart. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but he has one ear that's like flush and one ear that's like way out here, and I just can't help but see it.
But he's hard. I'm not saying anything, but let me say this.
Kistler brought it up. He's playing great though, and he's making a lot more money than me. And you know what, Wes? Yeah, he would probably beat me on the golf course, Wes Bearden. He would probably do that. He'd probably beat me. Yeah. Daniel Badeup says it's called a wing nut in Australia. Yeah, it's a wing nut. He's got a full-blown wing nut. God dang it. All right, let's get to the long shots, and then we'll hit our top 20s, top 10s, all that kind of stuff. Long shot bets. I'll tell you what I got. I like the old man Stuart Sink, the Open champion.
Yes.
I took it from Tom Watson at 150-1 on points bet. I mean, what can you say? He's been killing it. He's been playing great. He's added some distance. He's got the mentality. I love it. 150-1 is huge for a guy that's got all that going for him. I think you ride the hot hand with Lucas Glover. I can't even believe I'm saying it. Lucas Glover has gained strokes in 5 or 6, consecutive events after just winning the John Deere.
Yeah.
He's gained strokes putting in now 6 events. Wait a minute. No, 5 events. 5 events with the win at the John Deere. I mean, it's unreal what's happened with Lucas Glover. And don't forget, he's a major champion. It was a long time ago. And he's played this course. He played this course in 2011. It's just insane that he just won. And he's 150-1 on points bet. I just think it's worth something. And then finally, Joel Damon at 250-1 is a large number. A guy who also just won recently his first PGA Tour event, albeit a weak field, is what it is. He's been over here a few days. He's been prepping. He's taking this thing seriously. He played well his last time out. I can't remember, was it the Rocket Mortgage he played recently? Yeah, Rocket Mortgage T21 hits a lot of fairways. The around the green game has improved, and Joel has a good mentality. He's despite the self-deprecating humor of Joel Damon, like he actually can roll with the punches, and like he can take the tough breaks. He can laugh at himself. He can laugh at the conditions and the circumstances, and he can grind it out. And I think he's excited to play the Open. Maybe more to come in the Nut Hut about Joel, but 250-1 is a big number. I'll take it.
Okay. I was distracted by the chat.
What
The chat just someone like Kenny Thought just said he does baby powder.
Oh, praise God, baby.
He does
Do the devil's dandruff up in here.
He does baby powder. Okay.
You don't do baby powder?
Shit, I didn't realize baby powder had that much that you could do with it.
Dude, my skin is breaking out right now.
Maybe you need some baby powder. Maybe you need some baby powder on that skin.
My thigh hairs are like, what just happened? Like my thigh hairs are like, what in the world? So it's like red dots all over that little strip.
A couple here for me. Thomas Dietrich at 140-1.
God, you're excited. You have a boner on Thomas Dietrich.
I love this dude. I love this dude.
Pat literally texted me when Thomas Dietrich was in the field.
I was like, I'm betting him. I'm betting him right now.
I'm not even sure he's in the field. Pat's like, yeah, he got in the field. I think Pat was notified Dietrich was in the field before Dietrich was notified Dietrich was in the field.
I think I did know. I did. I was like, I let him know. I let him know. I think I tweeted something. Anyway, he's at 140-1, coming off a great finish last week at the Scottish Open. Has played very solid all year, so I like him at 140-1. Here's one that I did not expect to really pop at all for me. Matt Jones is at 180-1. Matt Jones is a guy that plays hard courses well. We just saw him win earlier this year at the Honda Classic. Kind of your grinder, great ball striker. I love some Matt Jones. The guy he plays fast. He's just a good dude. And he hadn't played bad in recent trips in the Open Championship. So I like some Matt Jones there at 180-1. I think that's a pretty good number for him.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about some top 20s. All right, some top 20 bets. I'll give you my lock top 20 of the week, okay? And it's a 2-1 number, and it's Harris English. Talked about him earlier. 2-1, it's a lock. I also like a guy who we have not talked about yet, but who's had a great year, young South African who, if you just Google his name, you'll find that he swallowed rat poison as a kid. Christian Bezuidenhout, however Pat says his name. I know we have a song for Christian somewhere. Christian Bezuidenhout at plus 275 on DraftKings is a top 20. The guy's playing really solid right now. Very accurate, good ball striker. I like him at the short numbers. Now, as we approach maybe some bombs, okay? Yeah, maybe let me give you some bombs. I'm going to take this one from you, Pat. You ready? I'm about to snatch this from your clutches like you snatched Leishman from me. Ryan Fox. That's right. European Tour bomber, New Zealander, great links record. Ryan Fox played well at the Scottish Open last week, is at 8-1 as a top 20. Every year at the Open, you see random guys. You see, the European guys who are familiar with links golf have an advantage. It's a real advantage, especially if he catches a good side of the wave. 8-1. I like him a lot. And finally, I'm going to give you a super bomb. This probably should be, actually, the odds are longer than what my let him hang prediction is. So this probably should be my let him hang prediction. But at 20-1 to top 20. 20-1, Pat. Did you hear me? 20-1 to top 20. A guy who's played in one Open Championship and he missed the cut. But a guy who hits the ball a long way, who, if you look at Fantasy National, plays lights out better in difficult conditions than he does easy or average conditions. Just finished third at the Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow, which is notoriously a tough golf course. Has a 5th place finish at the Arnold Palmer and won his first PGA Tour event at the Honda Classic in 2019 and won me a butt ton of money. That was a tough tournament. Mr. Keith Mitchell is at 20-1 to top 20, and I think that is a very interesting bomb for Keith Mitchell. That's it.
Okay. A few top 20s for me. I think Sam Burns, who's at plus 340 on PointsBet, so 3.4-1. I like that for a top 20. Everybody talks about Sam Burns this week from a DFS standpoint because he's very cheap, but still top 20 there. I like that number. I like Answer. If you hate my 90-1 bet, then bet him top 20 at plus 300. I like that. Lucas Earbert, I like him plus 330.
Lucas Earbert, I love that. Yeah, I like that. I like that top 20 bet a lot, actually.
Kiz also is at plus 380. Here's my favorite bet though of either a top 20 or a top 10. Matthias Schwab. Matthias Schwab. He is at 8-1 to finish as a top 20. He is also at 18-1 to finish as a top 10. Or if you want to bet him outright, he's 300-1. He has 5 top 10s on the year. 5 top 10s. He's a ball striker. He's a ball striker. Year on the European Tour. So 8-1, I think, is a great number for him as to finish in the top 20.
Fun fact on Schwab, he's also 12th in the Ryder Cup standings. So he is on. They're gonna only take 12 guys. Now it doesn't mean they're gonna take the top 12 guys, but he's right there on that 12 bubble. Obviously getting there through those 5 top 10s you just mentioned. So he's one to watch for sure. He's got to be highly motivated this time of year to make that Ryder Cup team for the first time.
Yeah. So I like the numbers on him. My other guy was Fox, who you just stole from me. So
okay. I have 3 top 10 bets. I've talked about.
I gave you one. That's all I really had. So
all right, I got Scotty Scheffler 3.5-1. Talked about him a lot. Patrick Cantlay 2.5-1, and then Bryson is 3-1. I mean, if I couldn't talk you into the 35-1 outright on Bryson, the 3-1 top 10 on Bryson, it should be a lock, people. Like, even if you hate him, just close your eyes and click the button. Like, 3-1 as a top 10 is worth putting a unit on. Or, I mean, it's too good for a guy with that kind of stuff. Okay, let's talk about some props. Let's talk about some other stuff before we get to Let 'em Hang. We'll end with Let 'em Hang. I want to ask you about the top Englishman, Pat. We've talked about.
I have somebody here.
We talked about him earlier. Hold on. We'll say him on the count of 3. We'll say their name at the same time. Your favorite bet, top Englishman. 1, 2, 3. Lee
Westwood.
Yeah. All right, 8-1.
A lot of value there. There's a lot of value there, I think.
8-1. Lee Westwood is interesting. You know, I couldn't talk you into him at 56.5-1 outright, but as the finishing as the top Englishman, I agree. There's some value there and agreements. So very interesting there, Pat.
He's also, if you want to go with the group of Britain and Ireland, so it includes the Irish players as well, like Rory and maybe a couple others.
Is that so?
He is 11-1. So you get a little more if you want to take a little more risk.
Okay.
Throw in some Shane Lowry and some
Yeah, I think I
Rory.
prefer the 8-1 Englishman. I think Rory and Lowry have a good week. Okay. I do have a let him hang. Are you ready for this, or do you have any other prop bets?
No, that's it for me.
My let him hang prediction, I guess it's not actually as bold as they have been in weeks past because the odds are a little shorter than some of the things I just mentioned, but it's a fun bet, and it's a unique bet that we tend to only get for the major championships. I am going to, in traditional DB fashion, shout out Birds of Condor, shout out all my Aussies out there. I like the nationality prop of the winner of the Open Championship being Australian, mate, at 14-1, 14-1. You know, you got here's just some of the names. Now you got other names out there at 14, as an Aussie, but here's just some of the names representing Australia. Cam Smith, mate. You ever heard of him? Mullet, good around the greens. Adam Scott. Yeah. Jason Day, who I think he's kind of crappy. Mark Leishman, Matt Jones, who you just mentioned, Lucas Earbert, and Minwoo Lee, who just won the Scottish Open, is an Aussie and counts for Australia, mate. Hell yeah. Bring it. Daniel Badeup, Aussie DB. Love this mofo show. Aussie winner 14-1, mate. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Wow. You just cater to the Aussies these days. I mean, I love them. I mean,
I
I've
love
mentioned
them, dude.
several
I
of them,
love
but
them. I feel like I've got a little Aussie in me. I haven't traced my ancestry, but I feel like I got a little bit in me.
yeah. Well, I don't have odds on what my let 'em hang was going to be, but we did talk a lot about the Open Championships involving experience and
Shit.
blah 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 and
Hold on,
blah
before
blah
you do
blah.
that. Listen, guys. Listen. You know what I need to tell you about? Well, you're gonna bet on some players, man. And you need to bet on a safe bet being that if you wanted like a 2-1 bet, it would be that guys had Fujikura shafts in their bag. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yes,
Fujikura is the
okay.
most played shaft on the PJ Tour, and their Ventus is the #1 shaft model on the PJ Tour. And it's been used to win on actually 4 tours. The PJ, LPGA Champions Tour, and European Tour all have winners using the Ventus shaft from Fujikura, including players like Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Adam Scott, mate, Aussie, 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 Sergio Garcia. You know what I mean? You ever heard of these guys? Yeah, you have. It's available in 3 models with a range of weights, flexes for any golfer, whether you're a tour pro, you're a weekend warrior, whatever. I don't think we have any tour pros that listen, actually. But if you are, you should use a Ventus shaft. It helps you find the center of the club face way more often for better consistency and distance. It's just a great product. And the Velo Core is the performance standard for all club fitters. Find a local fitter at FujikuraGolf.com and check them out on Instagram at FujikuraGolf. That's FujikuraGolf.com. Check them out on Instagram, at Fujikura Golf. Now, okay, what are you saying, Pat? Sam, where were you on that? Anyway.
So we were talking about my let 'em hang. I don't know if there's any odds on this. There's probably not. But and experience is we said it matters a lot, which I do think it matters for Open Championships. But I am going to say that a first-time Open participant is going to win this year. And here's a few names.
I'd like to find odds on that.
Okay, here's some names if you want some. Colin Morikawa.
Scotty Scheffler,
Victor Hovland, Will Zalatoris, Thomas Detry. I don't like Will Zalatoris, by the way, this week. Garrick Higgo. Not Harris English. Thomas Detry. Minwoo Lee, Max Homa, Guido Migliazzi, 70. Anyway,
Sexy
I
time, I like to call it. Sexy time, I like to call it.
Anyway, so yeah, I do think I'm gonna make that as my let 'em hang prediction that we get a inexperienced first time Open participant winning this week.
Hey, what if we do this? I love that, by the way, buddy. Wish we knew the odds on it. That'd be cool if we did, but we don't. Anything else? Are we missing anything? Sam, are we good? Producer Sam, are we good? I say we do this. I say, Pat, if you're up for it, we end the show on the audio right now, but we do bonus time for people in the chat, and they can ask us questions. And when we run out of questions to answer, we can hang it up. But maybe we do a little bonus time since it's the Open Championship. They can ask us anything. They can ask us about life, about relationships.
Can I leave to go to? I gotta pee.
Well, hang on a second. God dang, dude, you're freaking prostate.
Not the second. Like
okay, yeah. Just hang on a second.
What am I allowed to do here? Like,
are we missing anything? Are we missing anything else? Are we good? I think we're good. All right. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Go ahead and leave us a thumbs up. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave a comment on YouTube. If you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. We would appreciate that. That actually helps us out. You guys don't know that, but you may know that, but it helps us out. Okay. 5-star reviews help people discover the show. So that's what you can do for us. We do a lot for you guys. Do something for us. It doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time. And that's DB's guilt trip of the week. There you go. All right. Thanks for watching. May your screens be green. The Nut Hut's going to be popping. Tons of stuff on tourjunkies.com. Follow on Twitter. There's going to be a bunch of stuff out on there too. It's just going to be good stuff. Fantasy Golf Sommelier. I can't wait to see. Pat's got a lot in store. And if you're watching live right now on YouTube, stick around. Let's answer some questions. Have a great week for the Open Championship. See ya. Out. Okay, Pat, you can go pee and we'll stay live.
Oh, wait, I do want to answer a question here, though, because so Kistler, whoa, I'm not trying to leave here. Kistler said on my Let 'em Hang play would be the first time Open winner since 2003. Well, guess who won in 2003 and on what course they were on?
Was it Tiger?
No.
I don't know.
Who won in 2003?
I don't know.
Anybody answer that?
I'm just answering Tiger. I'm just saying Tiger. Who was it?
I thought I know the answer. Maybe I was wrong. Hang on a second. Now y'all are making me question myself.
Okay. All right. Anybody got any questions? Anything? We can talk about
okay. So 2003 was Ben Curtis at Royal St. George's on this course. I thought I was right, but then all of a sudden you started making me question myself.
Ben Curtis. Yeah. Hell yeah.
On this course. So there you
Pat, go ahead and pee. All right. Steve V here has a question. Let's see. And he also says he's got a 5-star review incoming. Let's see. Steve says, one and done. Would you do DJ, Reed, English, Hatton, or Lowry? That's interesting. Those names are interesting, Steve. I honestly think, because typically I would say, well, it depends on where you're at, right? Like if you're up there, if you're near the top and you can play it, you can afford to kind of play it safe and you don't need to get real cute, then you could go with the safer play, which some would say would be DJ. Some would say it'd be Reed. If you were a little bit behind and you really needed to make up some distance on guys in front of you in the one and done standings, and some would say you need to get a little more cute. And I think English is a perfect play in either scenario. Honestly, if you're up, if you're good, if you're near the top, I think English is an interesting leverage play. It's going to be very low owned in one and done. And if you're in the bottom, I think English is going to be low owned in one and done. I don't think a lot of people are going to pull the trigger on him. I like English all around. He'd probably be my number one call here. If I had to make a safe play, I would say Patrick Reed. I think Reed would be the safest play, although I think English is rather safe himself. So there you go. And thanks for the 5-star review. You better actually do it. All right. Spazbite. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Spazbite. Hey, I'm coming to Augusta in a couple weeks. Oh snap! Where should I tee it up? At. Well, Spazbite. First of all, you should not end a sentence with at. Your mom should have taught you that, but we'll let that one slide for now. First of all, you should slide in our DMs on Twitter or Instagram and let me know when you're coming. Maybe we can play together. How about that, buddy? And then in that case, we could play a Champions Retreat, my home course, which is pretty freaking awesome. If you can't do that, then I would, for public courses in Augusta, I would recommend the River, which is technically in North Augusta, South Carolina, just over the Savannah River, or Forest Hills, old course. Bobby Jones played on it. Really cool course. Or Bartram Trail, in that order. So River, Forest Hills, Bartram Trail for public courses. For private courses, I would play Champions Retreat or Augusta Country Club if you can swing it. But maybe you cannot. Wes Mother effing Bearden. How much are you guys considering fairways gained? I really don't want my DFS guys hitting from the bunkers and hitting out of bounds. Good plan, Wesley. Yeah, fairways gained. If people are like, what the heck is fairways gained? That's a proprietary Fantasy National stat. Basically driving accuracy, but it related to the field, which we like better. FantasyNational.com/TJ. So, yeah, I'm looking at it. I tell you what I did is I pulled up on Fantasy National driving distance and fairways gained next to each other on their own tab. So I can only see that, and I'm not distracted by other stuff. Because I think both are going to matter here. I think the course is taking on a lot of rain. Conditions are a little softer than they probably would like. I think the course will firm up because the rest of the week's supposed to be dry. And there is going to be some wind. All that's going to be great. But it's a little soft right now. So I think distance is going to help. And, I mean, there's actually not a ton of out of bounds off the tee here. God, my thigh is now itching. There's not a ton of out of bounds. There's trouble, obviously, with fescue and stuff like that. That's not good, but I'm definitely looking at it. I just want to see, does my guy have a little bit of both? That's one reason why I love Scotty Scheffler. He's got both. He's top 40 in driving distance. He's like top 60 in fairways gained or something like that over the last 24 rounds. That's why I kind of like both. I think both are gonna matter. So, any other questions? I don't really see how much your bench show used to consider DFS plays. Wes, how much is your betting show used to consider DFS plays like top 20 and outright winners? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, my top 20 guys I like. Now I tend to be, you guys know this. I mean, I have DB's Big Balls betting card, so I'm a gambler, right? So my top 20s tend to be longer numbers. Like Keith Mitchell at 20-1 as a top 20. I'm probably not going to play Keith Mitchell in DFS. I'm just not. But like an 8-1 Ryan Fox as a top 20, I think I might play in DFS. So I think I don't know. It kind of depends. Trip, based on if you have a question, put in the chat now, because if we run out of questions, we're done with this. Trip, based on current forecast, what is the AM PM advantage? What is the weather wave advantage? Let's see. Oh, we don't even have tee times out yet, so I don't even know. Let's see. All right, so in Sandwich, England, on Thursday, there's no rain, really, to speak of. The wind is the issue. So in the morning, actually the winds look worse in the morning, just slightly right now on Thursday. Just a little worse on Thursday. Let's look at Friday.
Kenny, this isn't a basketball chat, and nobody cares about international when it comes to the Olympics. The USA is going to kick everybody's ass anyway, so just don't worry about these preliminary. No.
I actually think there's a very small AM PM advantage right now. Very small. This is Monday night. Very, very small.
I actually looked at it earlier today, and I think you are correct. That was what I saw as well. But
all right, here you go, Pat. Why don't you answer this question from David Speaks? How much do American guys' performances at the Scottish Open play into who you're picking this week?
Not a ton unless it fits my narrative. I'm
Good
just
Lord.
kidding. No, I mean, I try not to look at it too much when it comes to, I mean, almost any event. Like you look at guys like leading up to the Masters or whatever, like playing the week before. Justin Thomas, who we haven't seen a whole lot of form from, play extremely well in that tournament, even hitting a few terrible shots, which we saw. Um, it does put me on to him a little bit more than I might have been, mainly because you're getting, these guys like JT at some better value from a betting standpoint, yet we're seeing some form from him. And JT showed that, like, he was in terrible form going up to the Players' Championship. And then what happens? We get him at a longer odd number and he wins. So, I mean, guys like Ryan Palmer, though, I think Ryan Palmer's an interesting one because he did really well last week. Nobody's really talking about him at all. I am not, I'm not on Ryan Palmer this week just because he played well at the Scottish Open.
Yeah, it's one of you're kind of right, though, on the narrative thing. Like, if I'm honest, for me, because Ryan Palmer's a great example. T4 at the Scottish Open, and I still don't want to touch him. Like, I feel like for the guys that played well or played honestly, I feel like if you played it all at the Scottish, it's a little bit of a bump just because you're there, you're a little comfortable. I don't like that the Scottish this year played so easy. I think that's where it's a little different than years past. A lot of years we see the Scottish Open play a little tougher. This year we saw it play very easy. It wasn't really a linksy. First of all, it wasn't really a links style course, not fully. And it played much easier than typical Scottish Open. So I don't know. It's not much of a test, but if a guy plays really well and he goes over there and he's comfortable and he plays well and he gets there early and he's not dealing with travel, it gives a little bit of a bump. If a guy goes over there and just misses the cut like Rory just did, it doesn't really bother me. I still look at it and go, hey, he's over there. He did his thing. He probably figured out, here's what I got to do. He went over to Royal St. George's a couple days early and he did his thing. So it's kind of, I don't know. It probably gives you every possible answer, which is what we're here to do. I don't know.
What's my narrative for this week? Because I don't have a narrative this week. My narrative is to try to win more money again. That's the narrative I want.
Kistler says, so the Club Pro at Bryson's home course on the bag this week, correct? Well, in all honesty, he is a little more than just a Club Pro. Like he has been coaching Bryson along with Chris Como, specifically. He's been in all the videos Bryson's posted about his speed training and all that other stuff. Like this guy has been right there beside him. He's a good, he is a coach and he is one of Bryson's coaches. He's not just some schmuck head pro that said, yeah, I'll carry the bag. Like he knows Bryson, they're boys. They train together. They hang out together. So it is a little more than just that. I will say that. Suja style. Any idea how many links were played on the Euro? There are a number of them. I will say that. Let's see if I can find it on Twitter. The Irish Open, the Scottish Open, the Dunhill Links, the Oman are probably a couple that I would look at. So those are just a kind of a few. Oh, Kistler, who does Pat hate personally this week? So who do you have a personal offense with other than me, which is like ongoing?
I don't hate anybody. Hate's a strong word. If you're talking about plays that I just absolutely hate, I don't like Willie Z this week.
You do kind of hate him, don't you? This week.
I kind of hate him this week.
You feel like he's going to get blown away? I mean, if we get Gus up to 30, his ass could be in Germany before you know it.
He might not be able to stand over his ball in a 25 mile per hour gust. It could just blow him away. Like, not only is he going to have problems putting, but he's going to have problems just standing up.
Yeah.
So I think Willie Z is in trouble this week.
Yeah.
Another guy I hate this week is Justin Rose. I can't stand Justin Rose. Cannot stand Justin Rose. I like him personally.
Okay. Oh, you do?
But what's going to happen, though, is he's going to do something good. Out of effing nowhere, Justin Rose is going to do something good. And it's going to piss me off because he's not going to be in any of my lineups.
Okay.
He's not going to be on any of my betting cards. It's just he's going to piss me off.
All right. Steve says, sorry I missed this. Does Sergio seem like a sleeper? Been striking the hell out of the ball. Obviously has a decent pass in the open. Interesting, Steve. You know what? In both shows, we have not talked about Sergio Garcia. Yeah, he has been playing a little better lately. His most recent major, I think, was better than we've seen him perform in majors. He, since he won the Masters, was pretty terrible in major championships until he got to this year's U.S. Open, where he finished 19th. I mean, it's not like he made a run at it, but his Open championship record, let's see, is not bad. Yeah, he's got a couple of runner-ups, 6th, 5th. Now, his last good finish was in 2016, where he finished 5th. I don't know, man. I'm honestly just not. I'm not on it. He is a sleeper. I agree. Like, I haven't seen any chatter about him on Twitter.
He's definitely a sleeper. I mean, he's the definition of that this week.
Yeah.
And he's always a good ball striker. I mean, he has been throughout his career and, tends to be able to, really control his ball well. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I like this question. David speaks. A couple Barbasol outrights. Hey, I like that.
You've looked at those. I have not looked.
I've looked at these. I honestly looked at the long shots, man, and I don't have any that I have real conviction about, but I do have some short to mid-range guys I like. At the top of the board, Seamus Power and Luke List both are at 20-1, and both are playing exceptionally well right now. Both have sniffed victory in the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Both have experience playing this golf course. I like them at 20-1. Henrik Norlander at 33-1. I like, along with Steven Yeager, who has been winning on the web.com for years, and he's won twice already this year. This is basically a web.com. This is a glorified web.com tour event. Yeager, super confident right now. I like what he's doing at the moment. And then lastly, I will go Satoshi Kodaira and Kevin Tway are both at 66-1. Those are kind of as long as I really felt some conviction about. So there you go. All right. I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around for a little bonus coverage. We appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. May your screens be green here on the YouTubes. Leave us a comment, please. Comment. It helps us out. And let's have a great week in the Open. And join the Nut Hut. And let's chat on Wednesday night. See ya.